Hello and welcome or welcome back to What Heather Did. I'm Heather and today I'm participating in the Christmas challenge, which is hosted by Margie at the Asking Spot and Crystal to Crafty Creech to spend $20 in your local community buying stuff that you can flip to make decor or gifts. So today I have 3 projects for you, so let's get started. Oh, and wait, before we get started, don't forget to check out the other videos in the playlist, link below, and there should be a little thing up here somewhere. Okay, now let's get started. And for this project, we were getting these little cups that I bought from the thrift store. This one was alone, and that was $1.99, I think. And this was a set of 4 for $4. And I'm going to be making candles out of them. And full disclosure now, these were not the right size wicks, so I ended up having to remelt everything, put new wicks in, and kind of make a mess. But whatever, I got it fixed. So I'm going to be starting off with this fragrance oil. Everything I'm using is from Brambleberry, and it's actually stuff I already had because I used to do candle melts, or like the little wax melts, when I had a soap making business. So I'll start by gluing my wicks down into my cups, and then I didn't really measure out how much anything would hold. I just poured it out and hoped for the best. So I'm going to melt my wax in the microwave, 30-second burst, no faster, and then stir really well in between. Also, none of the stuff I'm using is used for food. It was strictly from my soap making business. So, because I still do stuff from time to time. So I did weigh everything out and then just stirred until everything is melted completely. And you want to be careful because you can overheat this. You can cause a lot of problems. So less is better. And then I calculated how much fragrance oil I would need for the amount of wax I had, and I added that amount. And then you just stir really well. And on to the second one, or third one technically. This colorant, you just cut a little bit off and then melt it. It's a wax colorant. Melt it in, and then you can use a cold spoon to see if you like the color and just keep adding until you get the color that you want. So you can see it's a little bit light, so I'll just add some more and keep going. And this one was a Christmas tree scent, also from Brambleberry. And I just kept going until I got the color that I liked. And it would have been a really good idea, because I liked the candles, it would have been a really good idea to test them at this point, but I didn't. So I made all of them before I realized the wicks were too small. So, bad plan on my part. All I ended up doing was melting them down, and then melting them down a little bit at a time and re-pouring them into new mugs. It's just what I ended up doing. Also, check this out. Yes, I measured much better this time. So I had exactly the amount I needed for 2 candles. And here are the original candles I ended up with before I cut the wax, or the wicks. Ugh. And super cute. They're not fully solidified yet. And this is what I came back to, because yeah, I had to remelt them. The messy one, so you can also see there's a new mug. Yeah, the messy one is for me. That was going to be my scent anyway, because I love it. So I didn't worry about cleaning the mug up. All the others I did actually, I still have a spot to clean there. But it works really well. There's a little bit of frosting on the top of 2 of them, but it will be fine. This one melts really well. It smells amazing. The relaxing fragrance oil is like my favorite. And these work really well. Also, it didn't fill them up higher because the wick is for a certain size candle, and I didn't want it to be too much wax for the wick, which is what I ran into in the first place. So that's why I didn't fill them up higher. So project number 1 is done, and I have 4 candles ready to be given as gifts to some family members. And next we have this little pair of Owl salt and pepper shakers that didn't have the little rubber stoppers. This one also had a few chips on it. So I washed them up really, really good. And I also primed them, and we're going to turn them into a pair of ornaments. And we're going to start off by making 1 silver. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. And I got the bottoms too later after this had dried. And then 1 is gold. Because, you know, it needs to be gold because... silver and gold, silver and gold. And after letting that dry really well, I'm going to take some ribbons that I have and some beads to turn them into little ornaments. So started off with some silver embroidery floss and stringing some beads on there. And then I spray painted some bells that I had gotten from this door hanger, which are super cute. But I stole some of the bells off of that, spray painted them, and I'm going to put some beads on the floss with the bells. And then I'm going to take a bunch of ribbon, and I'm going to lay out all the ribbon to make, you know, kind of pretty. I have some lace and some just plain ribbon. The sequin stuff didn't work out very well, so I don't have that. And then a little bit of burlap. And I'm just going to put that all together. And then tie it together to make it kind of all hang down and look cute. And if you happen to be enjoying this content, please make sure to click the like button, share my videos, even subscribe if you would like to. All of that helps me out, but it doesn't cost you anything, and I would greatly appreciate it. And be sure to check out all the other videos in the playlist. Okay, so after I got this all tied together, I decided I wanted to add some more beads, which is perfect after everything's done. So then I just added these kind of Christmassy beads. And then I took some wire. This is the only silver wire I had. So I really wish I'd had a higher gauge wire. Smaller gauge. Smaller, so it was thicker. I know how gauges work. And it was just a little bit thicker. I'm going to have to do something else about the hangers. And you just take the wires and you poke it through the holes of the salt and pepper shaker. Which the hardest part is after you get one in, making sure you don't lose the other. And I cut out a lot, so you didn't have to watch me do that. But here we are. I will tie that together, make a little hanger out of it, and then here are my ornaments. And these are ready to go to some dear friends, and hopefully they love them. On to my third and last project, which I have absolutely no video of the before. It was just one of those, like, it was a pair of like the cheap little like MDF signs that you can buy that I think were $4 for the pair, and I had already painted these and tried to decoupage and it didn't go well, and it sanded, and so they're kind of rough as it is. But I didn't worry about that. I just repainted, and then I'm using some scrapbook paper that I thinned out using packing tape. You know, you put the tape on the paper and then it'll pull some of the layers of paper off and make it thinner so you can decoupage with it. I also figured out there was a specific way I could tear the paper so that the edges didn't have white edges. They weren't white, like it was just the paper showing. So I did that for most of it. And then I just tore it into some strips and decoupaged this down. And the Mod Podge I'm using is just I'm trying to use up what I've had. Same thing with the scrapbook paper. It's stuff I've had. And I'm just trying to use up some stuff. And I just went through and randomly tore some pieces and glued those down. I think later the Mod Podge on top of the paper, I was questioning my decisions there, does cause me problems. So I think if I were to do this again, I wouldn't put the Mod Podge over the paper. But here's what I ended up with. And I put this one little section. There was just one little word that said friends, so I put that there. And then definitely questioned my choices. Like, I was just worrying that I'd messed it up yet again. Like, this is my second time to redo these. But I have no video of the first time. I don't know what happened to it. So, and then I got the second one. With some different paper, I decided to go with two different papers. And I had plenty of both. So, same thing. I'm just going to glue it down. And again, definitely questioning my choices. I've already redone these, but it's not wood. It's just that, so I didn't want to sand too much. So anyways, anyway, here was where we start getting to it. Tore the excess paper away, and then I was burning the excess to make it easier to get it out of all the like holes and stuff. And I really liked the way this looked. I'm in my bathroom, so I'm next to the sink. Also, this is where the Mod Podge caused some problems because any paper that had Mod Podge on the top wouldn't burn. So I still had to kind of file the edges. I re-glued everything. I used a little paintbrush to get rid of the ash and stuff. And then I used some antiquing wax, and here's what I ended up with. And I don't know if I'm done with them, but for now, they're done. And I don't know. There's the first one, because I didn't have a place where I could hang them both up. Here's the second one, and it starts shaking because my son was making me laugh while I was filming. So, there's that. And there you have my 3 projects, which, if you were doing the math, I didn't quite get to $20 because I also bought a set of these that I took the price off. I think they were also like $4. There were 3 of them, but look, they're metal, but they're just kind of ugly. So I'm trying to decide. I started playing around, and I like hammered it. I was trying to make it look actually more hammered. I did flatten it out a little bit, and then I painted it with some hammered copper, and I was gonna put some stuff over it, but I just kind of stalled on ideas, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do with this yet. But if you have ideas, you can share it. But I've got 3 of them, so that's where some of that money also went. I ran out of ideas. But I also bought, hang on, not done. I also bought this shirt. Okay, now that's it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned to find out what Heather does next time.